have we crossed the lexicon, and not that lexicon, the other lexicon? Have we essentially reached the point where the 99s that are there aren't all created equal? And I don't mean in the sense of, well, one's on a lower tier than the other. It mainly just becomes, have we reached the point where the cost doesn't benefit the reward? And it's weird to say that at June 16th at 7:45 p.m., but it's the, well, nature of the beast because of how the game has progressed. And today I sort of want to just sort of talk about it and see where things are, where they're going, and how I think things are going to progress basically to the halfway mark in about a month with the All-Star stuff. So all that being said, I'm just going to jump right into this raw, if you will. So essentially, the reason why I'm bringing up this question is because of this guy right here. Good old Theodore Williams. Theodore, pretty gross. I mean, he's got max contacts, max numbers, 3 out of 4 categories. His lowest being 100, and his clutch is 125. And that's not going to change anything. He's 125 anyway. So he'll have max against righties, 1 max contact, and 100 power versus lefties. And the jump to get him really isn't too terribly bad compared to the first card here, Scott Rowland. Now, Scott Rowland, on the other hand, I would say in terms of third base, is a decent third baseman, but the problem with the cards, this particular the set, especially the subset, being Gold Glove cards generally offensively kind of lack. And argumentatively, this wasn't even Rowland's best year, and yet he was the first really big collection award we had. And when you looked at him, putting him on the back burner really didn't seem like truly that bad of an idea. And I think a lot of people did put him on the back burner. And now, because you have to kind of go through Scott Rowland to get Ted Williams, you're now in the position of, well, shoot, Ted's disgusting. Ted might be the best left-handed hitter, if not the best hitter in the game. And that's just kind of where we are. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is I kind of look at Carlos. I look at Carlos Beltran objectively, and I think to myself, he's now the best center. He's still the best center fielder in the game, but is he the best hitter? Honestly, I would say he's still up there in terms of the comparison to the top cards in the game. Beltran is still there. The only question that remains for him is ultimately, will there be a better Beltran card that comes out at some point? That's really the question. Is there going to be some Beltran card that's going to surpass this one? I don't have the answer for you. I very well, we could see the return of that 99 2004 card that they had the mythical card from a few years ago that was disgusting. That could return, leaving this card kind of just out there in the cold. Now, the sort of flip side to this is ultimately, I would say, Roger Clemens being the really odd one. This card's just the best pay-to-win card I think I've seen ever in this game. Based on your opponents that you have right now and where we're in June, and the World Series awards are, what, 93s? The awards cards are 94s. I think that I don't know if I can see him. The Retro Lightning Sammy Sosa's, what, a 94 or something? Is that it? I really don't remember. I probably should. I'm trying to make points. Sammy Sosa's a 95. So we're now reaching 95s, and mind you, this is the end of June. He's still arguably pretty good for what this was as an, I don't know if this is the extra Retro Lightning, if he's the Retro Lightning. He's a Retro Lightning. Take that for what it is. He's pretty good, but he's still a 95. The numbers, I guess, suffice to a degree, but again, at that point, where are we going to be in this? Because we've seen this song enhanced before with Retro Lightning cards, kind of to this degree, and they never seem to pan out. I couldn't tell you. If you have used him against Roger Clemens, let me know how that's worked out for you. I would assume it's not too stellar. Again, don't know. I'm probably wrong in every aspect of that assessment. But the question kind of here still remains, as we're in June and the top rewards we can get, essentially free to play with grinding, are 93s. Is that good? Is that bad? I'd argue we're sort of in this weirdness with it, and looking even World Series awards are 95s. We're still 4 octaves below this, which tells me going into the All-Star weekend, yeah, they'll be the first sort of 99s we can acquire, but where are they really going to be? Because at that point, if we're sort of anticipating a slight increase, where we should be granted, where everything kind of amalgamates to this high point at this point, because it's really first half, second half. Your all-star cards should be finest first half of baseball, and then your finest are your second half combined year cards. At this point, the question's going to be, because we saw it prior, is they've all been kind of around the 95-ish range, but have been quickly surpassed by stuff that comes out later. Now, argumentatively, if we're sitting at 95 now, are we going to be at 95 in a month? And I kind of talked about this previously, but I don't think my point was made of, at first I kind of figured 97 was sort of where I was going to in my head. At this point, I can see them just sticking at the 95 range, and argumentatively, this is the rationale, and the only reason I mean, hell, if they were all 99s, I would be ecstatic. I think that's really what it should be, because at this, what does it matter? But again, people, they want to keep the power creep. Then, if we're looking at it from the perspective of power creep in mind, well, sort of taking it from the color storm stuff, let's just take it for what it is. The color storm guys were 91s. A 4-point increase would say 95, which is a step down from where World Series will probably be, which let's just say is a 96, 97. That fits the mold of previous years being this 95-ish range. Now, granted, I don't agree with it. If the halfway point's 99, 95, and then the end of it's 99, all fine and dandy. But then at some point, you're playing the weird, dumb game, I think, where things get pulled back for the power creep reasons. And at that point, I don't think the power creep matters a whole hell of a lot. At some point, it's just a matter of ripping off the Band-Aid and saying, hey, we're here to have fun. Let's just have fun. Now, granted, is that fun? It's fun to me. I don't know if it's fun for everybody else, but sure as hell it's fun to me. But where's it all going to land? Now, I kind of don't want to wrap this into a live series thing, but I do want to make the point here of this. And I don't know if we're really necessarily going to address it. I don't know how it's going to be fixed. But the fact that Aaron Judge here in June is still at 500,000 stubs, it's kind of rough. Shohei, over 500,000 stubs at this point. You're looking at 1.1 million stubs just to get the 2 top cards, and he's also boosted. Now, I've heard them talk about sort of trying to alleviate this problem. As you see, I am basically 3 big cards away from finishing this. I don't know if I'm going to pull them. I haven't pulled a J-Ram all year. I sure as hell haven't pulled Ohtani or Judge, which I guess if I saved enough, I could finish. I could get Jose. It's just going to take me a minute. Then the Central will be done. 2/3 the way done. But the problem is the 500,000 guys in each league. Now, I've sort of briefly talked about a quote-unquote fix. The only truthfully, the only way to fix it is an odds increase on diamonds in live series. I know they fix it to where it's the back half now, apart from like the first card, is now that's where the flashback will be instead of a uniform. So you get to the end, you're not just you pull a diamond and it's flashback Bubba Chandler. It's going to be a live series diamond. That helps alleviate the issue, but the problem ends up being is these, unfortunately, the tier they're in. They're 93s. They're not going to be pulled at the same rate as, I mean, hell, J Ram's a 92. These guys are in the same range. And I know we could say, well, they're all turquoise. What the hell difference does it make for these guys? The difference is 17K stubs isn't a whole lot. 9K stubs is nothing. 200 and something thousand is a lot. $500,000 for 2 is a lot. And you can say, well, it's inflation because of the collection, which, sure, let's say that's the case. But at some point, the levy's got to break on this, because how many people are going to be in June, in July, don't have these guys, and are just stuck because they're looking at it going, I got stubs to burn. I got 150. I could finish X, Y, and Z, get these cards, because let's be realistic here. Is Chase Headley worth using as a 93 at this point? Probably not. Chase Headley's not really worth it. Jason Kipnis, a 92. Is he worth it? Maybe. He's kind of a slappy hitter. He's still getting some use. He might be worth it. I would say Darren O'Day's worth it because of his arm angle and stuff. Sinker, slider, four seam. He's probably worth it. These guys are probably worth it. Gil Hodges is worth it, I would say. I think Jordan Zimmerman's still very good. It's kind of funky. I mean, Ted Simmons is nasty, I would say, as a guy if you get to him. Don Baylor, I think's adequate off the bench. Darren O'Day, good. Kipnis, adequate off the bench. It's just a matter of what are we telling the player base that is probably in the same position I am in. You're 3 cards away to finish them over 1 million stubs. There's not really, and you can, I mean, granted, we can say all we want from the blue space. You can get a lot of stuff off Diamond Quest. That's perfectly valid. As the guy, I'm not saying I'm the face of this, but as somebody who doesn't want to pour a lot of time into this anymore, I don't want to be grinding this thing endlessly day after day, night after night. I don't want to do that. I have other things I want to do with my time. I got other games I want to play. I want to play. I'm playing Magic. I want to play Magic. I want to play D&D. I want to play stuff that's not baseball related. I work 8 hours a day. At this point, this is going to be very critical SDS. At this point, SDS is punishing the normal gamer because they can't allot the time to it. And this isn't just a program thing. I when it comes to programs, we can talk to the blue in the face with the programs, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, if the game punishes you for missing a week, missing adequate time that you can't make up in a day without 12 hours of grinding, people are going to turn the game off. They're not going to come back, and they're not going to pick it up tomorrow. I know there's plenty of people who constantly say that, who will talk about this game-life balance thing. I'm not saying they don't have it. But I am going to speak as the guy who has the commute, comes home, has to cook dinner, wants to do other things, and sometimes can't come sit where I'm at and play for a lot of times. Dude, I'm 32. Sometimes I want to go to bed at 10, despite my roommates calling me an old man. Like, that's the life I lead. You know, I'm not the same dude I was a while ago, where it's like, I'm really playing video games for the most part. I'm playing maybe one game for 2 hours, another game for another couple hours. There's not a lot that you can do in that 2 hours. And I know we keep saying Diamond Quest. I'm going to be blunt and say Diamond Quest to me, for the majority of players, isn't enjoyable. I don't think Diamond Quest is enjoyable. I think Diamond Quest is great for people who do want to put a lot of time into this game and maximize stuff. I think it's great. The prime example is Daddy Dim has been on a 50+ day subathon, and I think he spent a week straight of just playing Diamond Quest. And God bless him. It's great background noise, but in terms of just raw gameplay, I think paint drying is more fun than that. But that's where we are in this. And if you think I'm crazy for this, I have been staring at this for, God, at least a week. Because this is the most batshit crazy thing I've ever seen. This is the Easter program. Easter was in April or something. These sons of bitches haven't gone down in any essence. They were up to damn near 30K by now. They have now dropped to 21 and 20 respectively. If you bought them now, they're still 40K combined. I need those plus everything else, which is sitting at around 5K, 10K, I think now. However, they'll probably drop again if I wait to finish this, to finish up one other thing. The Summer Series guys here, the Ludwig 23, Sunny Gray, is sitting at 22. There's stubs to be made, but the question I've wondered when I look at these prices is clearly people necessarily are doing this, getting them, and not playing again. And I know creators will scream to the blue in the face that, look, you can get 40, 50K right now. I say, okay, cool. But I'm thinking their players are like me who are just looking at it going, I don't want to do this. They've turned the game into a free-to-play gotcha. And I've said for years that's what it is. But now it's really feeling that more than ever. And you can argue till you're blue in the face at me that, well, you need to just grind more. Hey, grinding more is all fine and dandy. However, I think there's more to life than playing a 3D baseball game for 5 hours a day. Call me crazy. Maybe I'm old and can't keep up with the youngsters anymore, but that's the position I'm in. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are there too. So when you're looking at this from the collective and saying, hey, collection 1, collection 2, truthfully at this point, I think the choice is up to you. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. To finish up, you need probably, you're looking at 1.1 just between the two big guys, 1.3. If you want to say 1.3K stubs, by all means go for it. I think you can grind to your blue in the face. The pack odds aren't that great. Maybe I'm totally wrong here, and they're going to drop something crazy, but I think it's a conversation that needs to be had. Are we reaching the point of the grind's not worth, the juice isn't worth the squeeze? And if that's where we are, that's where we are. And mind you, it's June. That's insane to say. Well, hopefully I'm crazy and I'm sinking in my chair because this chair is a piece of junk. So I'm not getting the camera. You're not seeing. I'm just sinking further into the ground. My knees are at my nipples at this point. But like I said, maybe I'm wrong. I know I sort of rambled on for this for 20 minutes, but thanks for sticking out. I'll be back hopefully tomorrow, Wednesday. Something a little more lighthearted. I just want to talk about all this because I thought this was insane, and hearing conversations and seeing conversations just makes you think. So let me know down below if you think I'm crazy or not. I probably am. With all that being said, my name is Specs, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.